Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to demystify something we see every day but maybe don't fully get. We're going to follow the secret journey of a digital image, all the way from a stray particle of light to a piece of logic a computer can actually use. I mean, really think about that for a second. How does your phone know it's your face? How does a self-driving car tell the difference between a stop sign and a red balloon? Is it magic? Nope, definitely not magic. It's a process. A really clever step-by-step journey. And that whole journey kicks off with something incredibly simple. A little bit of light. Okay, let's get into it. So first things first, we have to actually capture the world. This is where the physical stuff, reality, gets turned into a raw electrical signal. It all begins with a light source, like the sun or a light bulb shining on an object. Let's say it's a flower. That flower then reflects the light, and those light rays shoot straight into a camera lens. The lens does its job and focuses all that light onto a digital sensor, kind of like how the retina in your eye works. And right there, that's the first bit of magic, or science. The light becomes electricity. But here's the catch. We're not digital yet. Not even close, and this is a huge problem. Because what we have is this smooth, messy, continuous wave of electricity. It's an analog signal. And a computer, it only thinks in ones and zeros. Nice, neat, discrete numbers. It has absolutely no idea what to do with a wave. Which brings us to our next big job, translation. We've got to take that messy analog signal and turn it into something a computer can understand. We need to teach it to speak digital. And the most basic word in this new digital language? It's the pixel. You've heard the word a million times, but what is it? Just think of it as the single, indivisible atom of an image. It's a tiny little square that can only be one thing. One solid color. That's it. But it's the building block for literally everything else. So how do we make pixels? Through a process called sampling. The computer basically lays a giant grid over that analog wave and measures it at thousands or millions of points. At every single point on that grid, it creates one pixel. The best way to picture it is a mosaic. We're building our entire image out of millions of these tiny single-colored tiles. Okay. But how many colors can each of those little tiles be? Well, that's what we call color depth. If you only have one bit of information, your pixel can only be on or off, black or white. Super basic. But with 8-bit color, which is pretty standard today, each and every one of those pixels can be one of over 16 million different colors. And that is how we get those rich, detailed, photorealistic images. And just like that, we did it. We have a digital image, a giant grid of pixels, each with a number representing its color. But the journey's not done, because this raw image is often messy. It's got little imperfections, maybe some random static, or a bit of blur from the real world. So that brings us to our third part, the cleanup job. This is preprocessing, where we call in the digital cleanup crew to take that raw, imperfect grid of pixels and get it ready for some real analysis. You know what I'm talking about, right? We've all seen it. That weird, grainy texture in a photo you took at night, or when things are just a little bit out of focus. Well, the computer sees all that stuff too, and it has to be fixed before it can make any sense of the image. And the main tool for this job is something called a filter. The concept is actually kind of simple, but really powerful. To decide what a single pixel should really look like, the computer looks at all the pixels right next to it, its neighbors. It's almost like the pixel is asking its friends, "Hey guys, what color do you think I should be?" And there's a whole toolkit of these filters. A sharpen filter, for example, makes the edges in an image really pop. A blur filter does the opposite. It averages everything out for a smoother look. An edge detect filter is really cool. It just goes in and finds the exact boundaries between things. And of course, a noise reduction filter cleans up all those random speckles. You can even do some pretty wild stuff, like actually reshaping objects in the image. There's a filter called erosion that literally just eats away the outer layer of pixels to shrink an object. And its opposite, dilation, adds a new layer of pixels to make an object grow. These are super important for things like separating two objects that are touching. Okay, so now our image is clean, it's corrected, it's enhanced, it's a beautiful, perfect grid of pixels. But here's the thing, the computer still has no clue what it's looking at. It sees a grid of numbers, nothing more. And that brings us to what is arguably the most important part of this whole journey, segmentation. This is where we stop just processing an image and start actually understanding it. So this is the million-dollar question, right? The picture is pristine, but how does the computer find the dog in the picture? To the machine, the dog's pixels and the grass's pixels, they're all just numbers in a spreadsheet. How in the world does it group all the dog pixels together and say, that's one thing? The answer is segmentation. And the absolute best way to think about it is like taking a pair of digital scissors to the image. An algorithm zips through every single pixel and asks a simple question. Are you part of the thing I'm looking for, or are you just the background? Just look at this. It's an incredible transformation. On the left, a normal photo of a Dalmatian on some grass, really complex. Then, on the right, you see what happens after segmentation. The computer made a choice for every pixel. Anything that's part of the dog is now object. It's turned solid white. Everything else is background, solid black. We've got out the dog's silhouette perfectly. And this is the giant leap. The computer doesn't know what a dog is. It has no concept of it, but it's no longer lost in a sea of random pixels. Now it has a defined shape, a specific cluster of pixels that it knows belong together. It has something it can measure, analyze, and recognize. And once you can pull objects out of a background like that, well, that opens up a whole world of possibilities. This is where all that hard work finally pays off and leads to real-world, tangible action. Because once we have that clean, segmented shape, we can start asking questions. Is this shape a face? Is it a car? Is it a tumor on a medical scan? We can feed millions of these shapes to machine learning models to train them to recognize patterns. And that is what allows your phone to unlock, what lets you put a silly filter on your face on Instagram, and what tells a self-driving car to hit the brakes. It all starts here. So there you have it, from a single particle of light to a grid of pixels to a clean shape, and finally to a complex automated decision. That is the incredible journey of a digital image. This process has given machines sight, which leaves us with one final, very big question. Now that they can see, what do we choose to let them look at? Thanks for watching The Explainer.